Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joe, and today for this short impromptu podcast, sorry that there was nothing out this past Monday, things ended up popping up, unfortunately, to any other account, but today I am joined by Fox Spirits, and Jonathan.
Yo.
And of course, you know me, my name is Joe. So, you guys, a lot of big things in gaming happened this week. We had this past week, we had the release of Ghost Recon Wildlands, excuse me as I stab myself. And we had the big information for Mechwarrior Online about finally getting out of the clan war into the Civil War era, which will bring in a lot more technologies with it.
And a lot more of hate.
Oh,
just steamroll everybody.
There's gonna be a fuckload of hate, there always is. Now, with this update that you're introducing a fuckload of new weapons technologies, we have the new light engine for the Inner Sphere, we have the introduction of light and heavy weapons, we have a snub-nosed PPC showing up, laser AMS, computer targeting stuff, basically the stuff that the clans had before coming in. Not to mention we're finally getting the rotary cannons.
Ouch.
Now, John, what do you think of this? You've played the game with me for a while. What do you think of the tech that's coming out with this?
It should help even up the odds a bit on the field, especially with the heavier weaponry.
Yeah, that it...
Finally be able to punch through the damn clan armor.
Well, it's not really armor. I think it will more balance out how the meta works with them. Because the clans have always outdid the Inner Sphere when it comes to range and damage. I mean, it's pretty hard trying to march across the river when half your armor is melted off within the first 5 seconds.
That's if you're dodging.
That is if you are dodging. There was a lot of people who died in between that. And another thing coming with this update, and I think it should be implemented before it goes out, we have the introduction of the skill tree, which is getting away from the tier upgrades for the battle mechs. So instead of having to say own 3 maulers to get the elite tier, I only have to own like 1 if I'm correct. And you upgrade it from there and spec it out, which I'm not sure how that would be for new players coming in, because how the older players will be getting refunds for GXP and shit like that, and we won't be starting from scratch. I don't know how that would be for new players. Fox.
I'll let you know.
No, but Fox, how does that sound to you, though, the skill tree idea? Do you think it would make it easier?
Well, I mean, it's a possibility. I'd honestly have to see it play out. I'll have more insight when I actually get onto the game. I think it will help out a lot, yeah, to a point. Depends how well it's done.
Yeah. That's what mostly how it boils down to, and obviously it'll be tweaked and refined as the game goes on. I got a chance to try it a bit on the public test server, and you can tell the drastic difference between people who are min-maxing and that kind of a thing. But with any game, there's always a workaround to that. Because when you min-max, it leaves you open to so many other things. John, what do you think of this, man?
I think at first veterans will probably have a bit of a boost, but with newer players it will actually begin to help them, as they won't have to try to scrimp and save to buy yet another mech of the exact same type.
True, and they would be able to save on, say, like mech bays and that kind of thing. They don't have to put money into it almost immediately.
Yeah.
In order to get like
new players will be able to
giant garage of mechs.
Just so you can upgrade that one mech.
Yeah.
Yeah, allow newer players to catch up with the veteran players much more quickly.
Mm-hmm. I would say...
Evening the playing field's always nice.
I would say the only relative downside to it is that it's going to take a while for people to fully get what's happening with it. Obviously, within these past few days, there's been major Mechwarrior YouTubers who are like, "Oh, I'm fucking done with the game. Does that mean I'm gonna stop playing it? I don't know." But...
Well, I do see one thing that's probably gonna be a problem. There's a lot of people who like spent so much money in it and now realize that it's just gonna be fucking easier for everybody else to do it. They're probably gonna complain. It's like, well, I got all this stuff done, and like, what the fuck now? I'm just wasting my money.
yeah.
Which isn't good for business.
No, it's not. Personally, though, when I sit down and I look at it, it's a relief because now I can pick and choose what mechs I want to use more often. Yeah, will be a grind to get like the mechs I haven't touched up to that skill tree level. Yeah, it will, but I mean, it's no different from when I had to grind the original like basic skill tier and shit like that for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna be like, okay, because with this, they're removing the entire quirk system that was on it. On all the mechs, they're removing the quirks. So you can armor up an Atlas, or say, Fox for what you know, quirks are basically what that mech was good at. So say you got a Timberwolf,
Yeah.
and you have a certain variant of it that isn't omnipotted, it can have like 10% laser cooldown rate, or something like that. And
Oh, that's just nasty.
it is, but with the skill tree overhaul, from what I understand, is that they're removing the quirks and they're putting it down in that skill tree so you can spec it out how you want. Obviously, that leaves up a massive hole in the meta that will be filled immediately with min-maxed mechs. In fact, I think that's what's going to happen with all the tier 1 plays. It's going to be min-maxed.
Huh. It's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, like, what they're doing, that does sound very... It's hit and miss, because that opens up a lot of people finding loopholes to make really, really OP mechs.
But at the same time, it would have to boil down to how you pilot it, because there is no relatively easy mech, and we all know this with our playing background. It's literally how you pilot it and how you use it. Because if you're a dumbass who's packing all lasers and you don't know how to control your heat, you're gonna fry. There's no doubt about it.
Heat stinks.
I mean, John,
John,
you've seen it while we've been playing. It's just so many people with the meta build mechs just fry themselves.
People think they keep using lasers and don't know when to hold your fire.
Though I do think, though, for Inner Sphere, it's going to go from a laser meta to a ballistic meta, especially with the introduction of the new LBXs and the new Ultras.
Hey, from the sounds of it, that just means less people blowing themselves up during matches.
True, but then that also runs into more ammo explosions.
Those are always nice.
Except when it's half your team.
That is true. I mean, the nice thing about this is that from watching the YouTubers like Snuggles Time, he's a big Mechwarrior Online YouTuber, from what I understand, and watching Phil and those guys from No Guts No Galaxy play it, I would have to say, looking at the skill tree and how it works, is I'm relatively impressed, and I'm not concerned at all with it. It's like, okay, as a gamer myself, and we've all been there with any like free-to-play or video game stuff like that, when they make a major change, we gotta learn to accept that and learn how to use it instead of complain, I believe.
Unless it's TF2, and then we don't need more hats.
Yeah, no. Hats on Battle Mech's newest release, fork over 50 MC, you get a top hat on your Irby.
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's like getting a giant middle finger freshener for your cockpit. I'm just good.
Oh, come on! My milkshake is glorious in my Warhammer.
I just want to reach in there and smack it over.
It's like that one off-putting thing.
Brings all the mechs to the yard.
You were watching, I was actually half tempted to make that joke the last time I was streaming. And you watched it, and you guys all pointed out the milkshake that was in my Warhammer. And John, I remember the first time you saw it while we were playing. You're like, why the fuck do you have a milkshake in your cockpit? I'm like, cause it gets hot in here, and I like a cold, refreshing drink.
Of all the good comments you could come up.
But to be honest, I run that Warhammer pretty damn hot.
Mark, we haven't blown yourself up yet.
Hey, go big or go home.
I think I'd rather just
worth
stay in
doing,
the
it's
back
worth
and
overdoing.
just,
Now,
just stay in the back.
speaking of battle mechs, we obviously have the new ones coming out, which are to match up with the Civil War timeline. We have the Zeal,
Yes.
we have the Cougar, we have the Mad Cat Mark II, and we have the Annihilator, which, to be honest, is the second most ugliest mech I've ever seen.
It won't be the ugliest.
Oh, that is true. It's like the second most. The first one is the Bushwhacker.
The Annihilator's not that bad. I like it.
I know somewhere's gonna be saying, no, this mech's uglier.
I know, right? It's like, well, actually, I can hear them typing right now. Well, actually, this one is the ugliest one. It's just a picture of a your mom joke.
Probably.
You know what? I'm totally gonna make an alt account and type that same exact comment now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, but it's like, I think it's gonna be good seeing the tonnage for these. It's like the Uziel's 50, I believe the Cougar's 50. The Annihilator, I believe, is either a 100 or it's a 90 tonner, and then the Mad Cat Mark II is a 90 tonner. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Mad Cat Mark II is, imagine a Timberwolf on steroids. That is literally what it is.
It's just death.
Yeah, it's 90. My cat too.
Okay. Well, nice. Well, now that I think about it, I wonder if the Mad Cat Mark II is going to dethrone the Marauder 2C.
We'll have to see.
The Marauder 2C is very laser savvy, but it's also slightly decent at heat compensation.
Just looking at the prices of these mechs, though. Like, I throw my money at the screen and realize it's not gonna happen.
Oh. But
How hard would it be to earn these said mechs in game? Just curious.
once they finally release, it depends on the price tag. IS is usually a lot cheaper than Clan. The Assault for the Clan is probably going to cost up to 17 mil. The Assault for the Inner Spheres, like at most, is probably going to cost, what, it's a 90 tonner, so I'm going to say about 6 million to about 8 million C-bills, possibly.
Probably a couple more due to how new it is.
Well, not a couple more, because they tend to usually go close to the actual universe price for it. Well, it's like, let's see the loadouts for these really quick. As I sit down, okay, here's the one for the Zil. Here's the 3S. It's 50 tonner. Its base movement speed for all of them is about, except for the 6P, it goes about 97.2 kilometers per hour. That, I believe, is the, next to the Phoenix Hawk, is the fastest base medium in the game right now. That will be in the game right now.
Hey, it didn't run all day.
That is true. And for the 3S, we have, it has nothing on the head. For the left arm, it has a large pulse laser. Left torso, ER small laser, 3 jump jets. Center torso has an SRM-6 launcher. right torso, ER small, another 3 jump jets, SRM ammo, and LB2. And the right arm has the LB2 X AC ER in an ER medium laser. But the thing is, with the classic Uziel, we know it for having the PPCs on it, and I believe that's the 2S. Like, that's the classic Uziel we have seen. With the machine guns, the jump jets, the SRM launcher on the top, and then it has the fucking dual PPCs, one on each arm.
Okay.
See, it's like I'm looking at this build, they're including the fact of the newer technologies. We have the 5P, which uses the light PPCs, heavy machine guns, and streak 6s. And then we have one using medium pulse, jumps, what was it? Double heat. See, the thing is, I'm looking at these builds, and I know people are going to completely gut them.
that was my first thought. Someone's just gonna rip everything out and just either go heavy ballistics or heavy laser.
Yeah. Because
Interesting thought.
Because the thing with the Uziel, though, is that it's not meant... I wonder if people are going to try and build it for brawling, because I don't... That mech was never meant to brawl. It's meant to be range. And this is even coming from the Mech Assault standard. It's like, you weren't meant to toe-to-toe in that mech at all.
Someone's gonna try.
Oh, guaranteed we'll see a build.
There's always the possibility of someone succeeding at it. Doesn't mean it's going to be the best, but if someone can nail it down and get it the way they want, then more power to them.
Yeah. Oh, and I was onto that about the Clanner medium, the Cougar. I was completely wrong about its tonnage. It's a 35 tonner. That's actually pretty slow for Clan 35 tonner. It goes, I think 35 tons. Isn't that in the lightweight category?
Yeah, I think
Should be.
Yeah. It goes 81 kilometers per hour, but I'm pretty sure you can put a bigger engine in it.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, because these are fixed slots. They're not... Yeah, no, I think you could put a bigger engine in it, because these are not Omnipod. No, they are Omnipod. So that could be a fixed engine.
Yeah, just double checked. 35's on the higher end of light mechs.
Yeah, so it's like, it's a heavy light, but it's like heavy light medium range. It's like, here we go, let's see the weapons for the Prime variant. Left arm has a large pulse, left torso has an LRM-10 launcher, right torso has an LRM-10 launcher, and then the right arm has a large pulse, so there's a build people might milk the shit out of for a bit. And then, from what I'm seeing, there's the ballistic build, which is the Cougar C variant, which has left arm Gauss, left torso has 2 tons of Gauss ammo, and then the right arm has the ER medium lasers. But if I'm correct, if this is omnipodable, they should be able to swap up what's where unless they fix that somewhere, because I'm looking to see it. No, I don't. Actually, yeah, right arm for the Cougar D variant and the Cougar C variant left arm. Yeah, I can see where they can dual Gauss or dual ACs with that or whatever. Because if the Cougar itself has a nice payload despite it being a 35 tonner. It's a very mobile mech.
I could think it was just hit and run. I'd say rip some stuff. Me personally, I'm probably just gonna rip some stuff on and shove a couple of snub nose in there.
Yeah, I could see some. Well, I don't think they have a snub nose in there. I don't think that goes because it's that's not Clanner tech, I believe. Unless there is a clanner version of the snub nose.
I thought I saw one.
No, they don't have it.
Let's
They
see.
have the
No.
ATM launchers, light and heavy
Oh.
MGs, micro pulse, micro laser, and then heavier lasers.
Try the ATMs then.
Well, I think the thing is that I'm gonna see people put fucking streaks in that thing. That's why I see it, especially with the front forward missile bays. That's gonna be nice for streaks. Again,
So,
Oh, heavy machine guns too.
that is true. I could see heavy MGs in it.
Run in there, strip everyone's armor while all the friggin' LRMs are coming in.
True. But yes, Fox, what were you gonna say?
did they add any new maps? Question mark?
There's a load of maps. I haven't heard any. We'll probably hear more information about the update when it comes up. Because right now it was just released, maybe I think last night, yesterday. And this is what we're seeing now.
Still love your reaction.
My reaction was a minor heart attack.
Should have recorded it. It was totally worth hearing.
There's no judging.
I'm just happy the IS got weapons upgrade.
And now that I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the 90-ton Annihilator for the Inner Sphere. And from what I can see, it's pretty much like several variants are ballistic boats. Not a lot of energy hardpoints. There's one that's almost straight up energy, but I wouldn't really put much... As myself, I wouldn't really put much stock in that. Then there's one that has missile hardpoints, which I'm going to see LRM variants of that.
Of course.
My question is, would it be able to compete with the other ballistics we have, as like the King Crab, especially the Victor, when that gets its update, and the jump jets become more viable?
All depends on how good the pilot is and the speed.
It's true. That is very, very true.
Because if you got one that can run out of cover, throw a couple salvos, then get behind cover by the time the other guy responds, they're gonna win.
True, and not to mention it's a bipedal mech, so it has a smaller frame to shoot with. In comparison to, say, the King Crab, which has that very wide angle, the Stalker.
And again, you also gotta take account for the armor.
That is true. It's a 90-tonner, so I'm not expecting it to take a lot of damage.
It's gonna rely on its basically hit and run tactics once again.
That's true. And
Except that long range, you'll just be able to run to cover quickly.
okay. Now, who has the oh shit car alarm in the background? That just stopped.
Because it wasn't me.
John. Okay. And then finally we get Kerensky's Chariot, which I'm gonna call it, is we have the Mad Cat Mark II. Where is it? Where's the other name for it, if I can remember it? Which is, they just have that as the Death Strike. Yep. Nope. It's known as Death Strike. Yep. I don't remember the actual name for it. Okay. That's the hero name. The hero name is the Death Strike. Okay.
You failed.
It's not my fault. Alright.
Yes, it is.
So, for the Mad Cat Mark II, Kerensky's Chariot, which I think it should be renamed, is because, God, only if she ever fucking took up those mercenaries. Could have really fucking used them.
Too damn prideful.
Clanners. Okay, there is no Omnipods for the Mad Cat Mark II. It has jump jet capability. And the most heat sinks on one variant is 22 double heat sinks. It has the 360 XL in it. And it goes 64 kilometers per hour, which is really fucking fast for an assault mech. That at base speed, that's as fast as a base as a base Black Knight.
Take a look at its weapons loadout.
Yeah, Gauss. It's a mix of like energy and ballistics, primarily energy, which isn't bad. It's gonna be nice to see it. There's a variant packing 2 AC-20s, 2 Ultra 20s, UX. Then with a suite of VR large lasers, another UAC in the fucking left torso. That's horrifying. What's the Mad Cat Mark II-B has 3 UAC 20s in it. No, not 3. My bad. I misread that. That's UAC 20 ammo. Could you fucking imagine for like a split second?
No.
See something with fucking 3 UAC 20s in it, just fucking coming after you.
No.
John, would you shit yourself?
Considering what I usually pilot, I don't think I would have time to.
Yeah, you're usually in a catapult. That's your mainstay, isn't it?
Yeah, that's because I like them. That's because I usually just wait till you guys run into someone, then I'll just hammer his armor away.
Mm-hmm. Though I do have to admit, if I was to put money into it, the Death Strike uses UAC 10s. I might try putting that on the Mad Cat Mark II 1, just to see how that does. And as it stands right now, the hard points for the Mark 1 ballistic for each arm, 2 energy, like 4 overall, 4 energy hard points, 2 ballistic hard points, 2 missile hard points, and 1 AMS hard point. And it's almost fucking universal for each, except for, oh god, the one that sports the 2 Ultra 20s has 2 ballistic hard points in its arms. That's the B variant. I could see them boating LBXs in that. 1 energy, 2 missile, 1 energy, yep. 1 ballistic, 1 energy, 1 ballistic, 1 energy. For the Death Strike. Overall, it seems pretty solid. I could see where people trying to make it a very competitive build might have issues. But at the same time, I see a lot of things open up for the damn thing. For like fun builds. Not necessarily like very stupid competitive builds, but for fun builds.
Hey, I find fun builds usually work better.
It's true. There's a time I took, I believe it was the Hunchback 4P. I don't think it was a P variant, but there was it's a Hunchback with a bunch of laser. It has a laser, like, hold on. It has a 4 laser rack on its shoulder, which you can fit 6, and I filled that with just flamers. One game. And I'd run up to people and just light them on fire.
Glorious.
No one ever thinks that someone's gonna take a fun build into somewhere where everyone's being competitive.
Oh, that is true. But I mean, it's not like we're tier 1 players, so it's not like we know much. Unfortunately.
Hey, best pilot doesn't get the second best or the third best. He fears the worst, because they can't tell what the idiot's gonna do.
That is true. It is harder to tell what a green player is gonna do than what a veteran player is gonna do.
That just six flamers on a mech.
Like for instance, I have flamers on a variant of my Warhammers, which I play competitively with, and I use it to shut down the enemy as I lay into them with goddamn medium lasers. And then
no one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
ain't that the damn truth? But Fox, with this overall update, how do you think that's gonna affect new players coming in? Does it make you want to come in more? Does it not? How does that help?
Well, I'm gonna be biased right now and say since they added my favorite mech, I'm automatically gonna join. But I do say it's probably gonna be a little bit more. It's a little bit more open for new players if they know what Mechwarrior is. If they're just joining just to join, it's probably gonna be a little bit of a catch-22 because there's a lot of like all the old players just got a buff, and there's always those people who complain about like, well, I want to be able to like be on the same level with everybody. So.
Mm-hmm. But in reality, it boils down to how you pick up the game and how you pilot. Because any game along the lines of like Mechwarrior Online, World of War, Tanks, World of Tanks, there we go, Battleships, whatever, War Thunder, they have a steep learning curve.
Mhm. But I'm definitely going to be downloading it myself. I have to say that from what I've heard and what I've seen of the game, I'm probably gonna get my ass stomped more than I'm wanting to admit, but that's just the way games go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that, because it's, at this point, it's like, yeah, veteran players will have an edge, but then again, it's also finding out what will work and seeing how the new meta develops, instead of sitting there going, PGI fucked us all, da 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 da.
They're gonna be dealing with the same new weaponry systems and everything as all the new guys are gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But the new guys might even have an edge because they're coming at this fresh, while the veterans basically have to unlearn everything they figured out already, and then relearn the new stuff.
Mm-hmm. But I think that comes upon us as gamers, especially veteran gamers, when we enjoy something, we should be able to adjust to that learning curve. Because that's half the fun of games like these. Oh, they did something new. It freshens up the game. Let's give it a shot.
Until you get those people that are like, no, fuck it, flip table, walk away.
I mean,
I'm allergic to change.
I mean, I'm gonna say this right now. It's like, if we have a majority of top tier players quitting the game, it's gonna be whatever. It's gonna be interesting because it's gonna leave it open for newer players to get into it and get a chance to grow at the game itself and become good themselves. Then when the old school players come in and they're like all grouchy and shit because the game changed, it's like the people who stuck with it and bothered to learn, and then the newbies who learned the system, they're top dog. It's kind of a power shift.
And games like this really need shifts like that because, I mean, like, you can't always let the old players always win because, I mean, the point is to keep getting money, so you're going to eventually have to let the new players get in there eventually.
Yeah, you can't... if new players get shut down like every game they play, they're not going to want to stick with it.
Yeah, I am going to have to admit that when I was first starting, it was really hard to get going because I had absolutely no fucking idea what I was doing. I mean, I'm like, what the fuck's a meta build? Why do clan mechs cost so fucking much? Why is there laser vomit everywhere? Why am I being eaten by missiles?
Just all that glorious stuff.
Yeah, and that's literally what it boils down to now, which to me is no big surprise. Am I looking forward to the skill tree? Yes. Am I looking forward to how it will change things? Yes. Am I excited for the new fucking meta builds? Fuck no. Fuck no, I'm not.
I am.
I mean, the nice thing is now it's like, now that they're doing the skill tree, I don't have to spend like 2 mil on fucking modules. Because they're taking those out too, except for like a handful. So now instead of having that max 20 cooldown on my King Crab, I can go through and lock it through the skill tree and not have to worry about it. I mean, I was that guy who went through and like moved modules around between mechs when I wanted to use them.
Ugh.
You would.
Oh, it's not like it's hard. And to be completely honest, I do have like 3 AC 20 max cooldown modules. Because it's like, I put 1 in my Hunchback, I put 1... then I put the other 2 in my King Crabs. Though, I have to say this, future build, which I am planning, is going to be putting Heavy Gloss in a King Crab. I'm going to see if I can fit it.
I'm probably gonna grab one of my light mechs and see if I can shove a Snubnose in it. Or 4.
Fox, what about you, since you're going to be coming in for it?
Well, I'm automatically beginning running to the Cougar. I don't know exactly what I'm going to put in it just yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to try just about anything.
Just about anything? Yeah. I would have...
See how much the game will let me fuck with it.
Mm-hmm. I'll keep in mind, one mech can have like 50 million variants of what it can be now.
I'm interested in how the stealth armor and the ECM suites are gonna go.
I'm curious about that too.
I mean, you can come up with one horrific friggin' sniper with that.
That is...
ECM plus stealth armor.
That is true. It's gonna make snipers a lot more deadly when it boils down to it. Will it be a good deadly or a bad deadly? I don't know, because they're not necessarily saying the point average for the stealth plate. Probably not going to be as much as Pharaoh or standard armor.
Probably not as much though, because like the name suggests, you're not supposed to be spotted at all. You're supposed to be hiding off on a tall mountaintop, just ripping into the big guys with a PPC or something.
That is true. You know what? I have money on the next mech they probably introduce being the Fenrir. That or the Tempest.
That or they just throw a curveball in there and like surprise you.
Add a bunch of fucking Jihad era mechs. Adds melee as well. We see fucking Word of Blake mechs with fucking blades and shit, and I just sit there and be like, nope.
I would die happy.
I mean,
goodbye, Snubnose.
If I'm right, if this is is this the Fedcom Civil War? This is what that era is supposed to be? This is supposed to be the start of it, isn't it?
Possibly.
Because it's what? It's like war after Clan War. Okay, let me type in BattleTech so that way I have a clearer search.
Clear your mind, young one.
Okay. Where is it? There's the Wars of Reaving, which is the time of the Jihad. And then... where is it? I need a timeline. I need a fucking timeline for this.
Alright, my apologies, gentlemen, but I must back out of this.
Okay. Okay, that's 3067 to 3087. Okay. But yeah, with the leave of Jon and everything else, I'd wish everyone that they will have a good night or a good day wherever you are, whatever time this comes out. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, I will see you guys later. Bye.